So, I am in my absolute happy place, right? Yes, I am walking through a landscape with rolling hills, with vineyards, and it's sprinkled with Spanish villages that have both historic churches and actual castles of the Knights Templar. I am so happy that I'm singing. I go walking on the Camino de Santiago, right? And I see her sitting there by the side of the road, this older woman. She doesn't look like she's ever walked any farther than from the house to the car. She's got brand new hiking boots, brand new backpack, and she's crying inconsolably again. This is not the first time I've seen her do this. And of course, I've been walking on this road long enough to know that there's like a whole subgroup of pilgrims who are like walking to process the loss of an important person, like their mother or their husband or their son, or all three in a tragic car accident. So I'm like approaching her very cautiously. Hey, how's it going? And she just machine guns me with like German and French, which I have no idea what she's saying, right? And I'm like, lo siento, solamente puedo hablar español and English, that's why I'm here in Spain. So she reverts to like sign language, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. I heard her leave the albergue in the morning at the crack of dark, and I heard her putting things inside plastic bags, inside of a backpack. And when I left, after the sun got up, there was nothing around her bed, so I tried, I don't think she understood, to reassure her that I'm sure her glasses were still in her backpack. And sure enough, later that evening, when we're in another pilgrim's prison, otherwise an albergue with bunk beds, she brings me the artifact to prove, yes, the glasses were in her backpack. Yes, I am an instrument of the Lord. I am not religious at all. I mean, even though I went to an elementary school for Lutheran people because my atheist parents thought that was a really great idea. By about the third grade, we all figured out that the gift of faith was something I had not received. And my religion teacher, she kind of insulted me. She had the gall to tell me that Jesus is your shepherd and we are his flock. I thought she was telling me, you are an idiot. Or, Jesus thinks you're an idiot. Why? Because when I was 8, I already knew about sheep. I know when we shear sheep, we grab them by the front shoulders and we just roll them right over our knees because they freeze in fear. Because sheep don't know what's going on when things are upside down. They are not the brightest animals in the barn. And I knew at 8 that I was a little bit brighter than a sheep. So I am still. So I left that school and I left the church and I never really thought about it again until I'm on the Camino de Santiago. And every day, the people a lot like Maria Therese, the crying lady, they're asking me, are you doing this pilgrimage for religious reasons? No, right? And they were not that happy about that because, like Maria Therese, they're also wearing brand new hiking boots, like they're climbing the Andes. And they have blisters upon blisters, and like every step they take, they're in a world of pain. And I think they're kind of enjoying it because at the end of their road, they're going to get all of their sins, admonished. And you can imagine me singing, coming over the mountain, on the arm of a really good-looking man in tennis shoes, having a good old time. They would just scowl at me. Well, but it was great because Maria Therese, the crying pilgrim, she always had my back, so she explained to them. I was like, and suddenly, I'm okay. It's all right. Remember, she's an ugly American, but it's okay. And actually, Maria Therese was very instrumental for me to become a little bit more tolerant of them. Like one day, she pointed out in her French guidebook about a village I didn't even notice in my guidebook, and it was this cute little town, and they had in the attic of their church, we could stay the night, and to get there, we had to climb the staircase of the bell tower. It was like, it Rick Steves, man. We were having like the best European adventure. At the top of the stairs, there was this very personable, charismatic, pipe-smoking priest who confirmed for me that my idea of the Camino Santiago is much older than the really strange, like, Christian legend that says that Jesus' brother, James, was decapitated and floated on a stone boat out to the west coast of Spain, where he was buried secretly and only revealed by an angel to a shepherd. Yeah. So I didn't feel so bad when all the old, very serious pilgrims would like go on about how many kilometers we had to walk, or how much the lunch was, or how many beds there were in the albergue. I was like, it's so cool, it's so cool. Because Jose Luis also taught me that, it all works out in the end. And if it hasn't worked out, then it's not the end yet, right? Yeah. Keep on going. And in fact, the last day that Maria Teresa and I walked together, it was really strange. First of all, the landscape was really different. It was like Nebraska flat. And there was just like nothing in the fields, like they harvested something, so there's just stubble. And there's no trees, and worse, there's no villages. Usually we can see where the next glass of wine is coming from, right? And there is nothing, just a straight road, so it just feels like it's going on forever. And Mary Teresa, of course, she starts crying, and she's holding back, she's like, go on without me. I'm like, all right. So finally I realized that we're walking on the straight road on a mesa. And very happily, underneath the mesa, there's the village. So late in the afternoon I arrived. I have never been so happy on this road to take my shoes off, soak my feet, put my feet up, and that's when I realized Maria Teresa's still back out there. So I stuffed my swollen feet in my flip-flops, and I grabbed my sarong. She's always making fun of my sarong and how naked I am. My sarong. Right. You've been to the coast of France lately? So I go hobbling back out, waving the sarong over my head, thinking, oh God, how many people are seeing this, right? And there's like a whole group of sheep out there in the field. Come on, check it out, man. They're like little fuzzy butts are out there wiggling around. And there's this giant, like, Spanish version of a sheepdog running circles around them. I don't think, yeah, right, to keep the idiots from falling off the mesa, right? Too cool. And then, seriously, there's a guy with, like, dusty pants and, like, a really worn-out work shirt. And it's like, holy shit. There are people in the EU in the 21st century who make a living as a shepherd. And he's standing right, like, off to my right. I'm like, holy crap, that is so amazing. A real shepherd. Now, obviously, I'm not an expert in shepherd behavior, but it seems rather odd that he's taking 2 steps and stopping, and 2 steps and stopping. You're not going to get very far. But then I realized, aha, way back there, there's an older, frailer version of his big dog running around. And oh man, that is just like Lilo and Stitch, man. That's like, oh Hannah, nobody gets left behind, nobody's forgotten. And then I realized in this moment of clarity, I was like, oh, 32 years later, this is what the religion teacher was trying to tell me, right? That like, we don't forget people, we don't leave people behind. And what that shepherd's doing for that old dog, that's what I'm doing for my friend I can't even communicate with. So finally, when I finally get to Maria Teresa and I take her backpack so she can come in, I'm like babbling at her. I'm like, hard day, really hard day, hard day. And finally she pulls out her only English. She goes, good girl. That was for all of those moments of clarity, and I mean, I'm talking like hundreds of moments of serendipity and coincidence that happened to me after 28 days and 500 miles of walking. I didn't want to stop. I looked at the Atlantic Ocean and was praying that I could walk on water. I wanted to keep going. So for the past 8 years, whether it's walking through Tuscany and Umbria for St. Francis of Assisi, or the entire island of Shikoku for the 88 temples, that 88 Buddhist temples, that's how I've defined my life. I don't know if everybody understands, but I'm a pilgrim.